Well, folks, it seems the ghost of trade wars past has come back to haunt us. The specter of economic conflict is looming large once again, and this time, it's not just a distant memory. It's a very real and present threat that could have significant implications for our global economy. Former President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from a disruptive tweet, has threatened to slap tariffs on our friendly neighbors to the north. His penchant for stirring the pot on social media is well documented, and this latest move is no exception. With a few keystrokes, Trump has managed to send shockwaves through the economic landscape. Yes, Canada, land of maple syrup, hockey, and apparently, according to Trump, unfair trade practices. The relationship between the United States and Canada has always been one of mutual benefit and cooperation, but this latest development threatens to upend that delicate balance. The implications of such a move could be far-reaching, affecting everything from the price of goods to the stability of markets. On February 1, 2025, the news broke that Trump was considering these tariffs. The announcement came as a shock to many, catching both politicians and business leaders off guard. The timing of this announcement is particularly interesting, as it comes at a moment when the global economy is already facing numerous challenges. The specifics remain murky, shrouded in that familiar Trumpian ambiguity. Details are scarce, and the lack of clarity only adds to the uncertainty. This ambiguity has left many scrambling to understand the potential impact and prepare for what might come next. But the threat alone was enough to send shivers down the spines of Canadian businesses and give politicians on both sides of the border a serious case of heartburn. The mere possibility of tariffs has already started to create ripples of anxiety, with businesses bracing for potential disruptions and politicians scrambling to find a diplomatic solution. Now, we've seen this movie before, haven't we? The trade wars of the past are still fresh in our memories, and the lessons learned from those conflicts are more relevant than ever. History has shown us that trade wars can have devastating effects on economies, leading to higher prices, job losses, and strained international relations. Trump, a man who seems to view international trade as a zero-sum game, has a history of using tariffs as a bludgeon. His approach to trade is often confrontational, viewing it as a battlefield where there are clear winners and losers. This mindset has led to numerous conflicts and has reshaped the landscape of global trade. But is this latest threat just bluster? Is it another one of Trump's tactics to gain leverage, or is there a genuine intention to follow through? The uncertainty surrounding his true intentions has left many analysts and experts speculating about the potential outcomes. Or should Canadians start bracing themselves for an economic storm? The potential fallout from such tariffs could be severe, leading to economic downturns, increased costs for consumers, and strained relations between two historically friendly nations. The stakes are high, and the coming months will be crucial in determining the future of US-Canada trade relations. Let's dive in, shall we? As we explore the potential impacts and the unfolding drama, we'll seek to understand the broader implications of this latest development in the ongoing saga of international trade. Canada, for its part, isn't taking this lying down. The recent tensions have sparked a wave of nationalistic fervor across the country. Citizens are rallying behind their government, demanding a strong response to what they perceive as unjust actions. The streets of major cities have seen protests with people waving Canadian flags and chanting slogans of unity and resistance. Prime Minister Trudeau, while urging calm, has made it clear that Canada won't hesitate to retaliate. In a series of press conferences, he has emphasized the importance of standing up for Canadian values and interests. His speeches have been a mix of reassurance and resolve, aiming to both soothe public anxiety and send a clear message to the international community. "We will always defend our interests," he declared, with the sort of quiet determination that makes you think he might actually mean it. His demeanor has been one of steadfast confidence, a leader ready to take on the challenges ahead. Trudeau's words have resonated with many Canadians, who see him as a symbol of their collective strength and resilience. But what exactly does retaliation look like? The government is exploring a range of options, each with its own set of implications. Economic advisors and trade experts are working around the clock, analyzing data and crafting strategies that could effectively counteract the measures imposed by the US. Well, Canada could impose its own tariffs on American goods, targeting key industries and states crucial to Trump's political base. Think bourbon from Kentucky, orange juice from Florida, and other products that are integral to the American economy. These tariffs would not only impact the US financially, but also send a strong political message. Or maybe even those little marshmallow peeps that seem to multiply like rabbits every Easter. While it might seem trivial, targeting such products can have a surprisingly significant impact, especially on smaller businesses that rely heavily on seasonal sales. Beyond tariffs, Canada has other economic arrows in its quiver. The government is considering a variety of measures to protect and promote Canadian industries. This includes providing subsidies to local businesses, investing in innovation, and enhancing trade relations with other countries. It could delay or cancel infrastructure projects involving American companies. Such actions would not only disrupt the operations of these companies, but also signal Canada's willingness to take bold steps in defense of its economic sovereignty. It could even, in a truly bold move, start looking for alternative trading partners, reducing its reliance on the U.S. market. This would be a long-term strategy aimed at diversifying Canada's economic relationships and ensuring greater stability in the face of future uncertainties. The message is clear. Mess with the moose and you might get the antlers. Canada is ready to defend its interests with a combination of strategic economic measures and unwavering national spirit. The coming days will reveal just how far the country is willing to go to protect its sovereignty and ensure a fair playing field in international trade. The uncertainty surrounding Trump's tariff threat has cast a pall over Canada. On Bay Street, Toronto's financial heart, stock prices have dipped as investors nervously eye the news. From bustling factories to quiet farms, Canadian businesses are grappling with the potential fallout. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, the mood is tense. Opposition politicians are grilling the government, demanding to know how they plan to protect Canadian jobs and industries. The typically polite halls of Parliament are echoing with a mix of anxiety and indignation. Canadians, known for their politeness and love of peace, are understandably concerned. The prospect of a trade war with their closest ally and largest trading partner is, to put it mildly, unsettling. The question on everyone's mind: is this just another Trumpian tantrum, or the start of something far more serious? Section 4, Collateral Damage, the Economic Fallout Zone. In this section, we delve into the potential economic repercussions that could arise from recent political decisions and trade policies. If Trump does follow through on his threat, the economic consequences could be significant. The ripple effects of such a decision would not be confined to a single sector or region, but would spread across various industries and borders. Certain sectors are particularly vulnerable, namely the automotive and agricultural industries. These industries are the backbone of many economies, providing jobs and sustaining communities. Canada and the U.S. are deeply integrated in these sectors, with goods flowing back and forth across the border. This interdependence means that any disruption in trade policies can have far-reaching consequences. The automotive industry, a key driver of the Canadian economy, could be hit hard. Factories that rely on a steady stream of parts and materials from across the border would face immediate challenges. Tariffs on Canadian-made cars and auto parts would disrupt supply chains, increase costs, and potentially lead to job losses. The impact would be felt not just by the companies but by the workers and their families. And let's not forget, what hurts the Canadian auto industry often ends up hurting American workers and consumers too. Higher costs for parts mean higher prices for cars, affecting consumer choices and sales. Agriculture, another pillar of the Canadian economy, also faces uncertainty. Farmers who depend on exporting their goods could find themselves in a precarious position. Tariffs on Canadian agricultural products, from lumber to beef to maple syrup, the humanity, could disrupt exports and hurt farmers already struggling with thin margins. These products are not just commodities, they are part of the cultural and economic fabric of rural Canada. The ripple effects would be felt throughout rural communities. Small towns that rely on agriculture and manufacturing would see reduced incomes, leading to a decline in local businesses and services. The economic fallout zone is not just a theoretical concept, it is a real and present danger to the livelihoods of many. Section 5, A Troubled Trading History: U.S.-Canada Tariff Wars. This latest tariff tiff isn't an isolated incident. The U.S. and Canada, despite being close allies and neighbors, have a long and, shall we say, colorful history when it comes to trade disputes. Remember the great softwood lumber war of the 1980s, or the more recent spat over solar panels? Yeah, good times. The two countries have often found themselves at odds over trade, with each side accusing the other of unfair practices. These disputes, while often resolved through negotiation or international arbitration, highlight the underlying tensions that exist even in the strongest of economic relationships. So, while Trump's latest tariff threat might seem like a bolt out of the blue, it's really just the latest chapter in a long-running saga. And if history is any guide, this latest episode is unlikely to be the last. Section 6. Crystal Ball. Gazing, what's next for the Great White North? Predicting the future, especially when it comes to anything involving Donald Trump, is a fool's errand. But let's indulge in a little speculation, shall we? Will these tariffs actually become a reality? It's hard to say. Trump is known for his unpredictable nature and his penchant for using threats as a negotiating tactic. On the one hand, he might be bluffing, hoping to extract concessions from Canada without actually following through on his threat. On the other hand, he might be dead serious, driven by a protectionist worldview and a desire to appeal to his base. Ultimately, the outcome depends on a multitude of factors: domestic politics in both countries, the global economic climate, and of course the whims of the former president. Buckle up, Canada, it looks like you're in for a bumpy ride. Section 7, stay informed, stay engaged. Well, there you have it, folks. The US-Canada trade relationship, once a model of stability and cooperation, is facing yet another test. The stakes are high, the outcome uncertain, and the only thing we know for sure is that things are about to get interesting. So stay informed, stay engaged, and for heaven's sake, someone get those Canadians a hug, and maybe a few extra bottles of maple syrup just in case. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analysis on this developing story and other important global issues. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.